Hi, my name's Helen Bostock and I'm RHS Wildlife Specialist. We're here today at Wisley in the Wildlife Garden to talk a bit about the Million Bumblebee Miles planters that we've prepared for you. This year we're teaming up with BBC Green Planet to create the BBC Studios, Our Green Planet and RHS Bee Garden to celebrate plants for pollinators at RHS Chelsea Flower Show. On World Bee Day, which is Friday the 20th of May, we're calling on everyone to plant up one of our bumblebee planters to help feed and fuel our precious pollinators. If we can get 50,000 people to plant up one of these containers, they would be able to fuel bumblebees to fly an incredible 1 million miles. The themed boxes, Be Happy, Be Healthy and Be Calm, are filled with plants anyone can grow, be it on your windowsill, in a courtyard or even a balcony. And why not give it a go at your local school too? We want to inspire garden lovers to help balance the ecosystem through planting more species that sustain bees and other pollinators currently in decline in the UK and beyond. So I'm now going to show you how to plant up our Be Calm container. And we've got a lovely trio of plants here to put in it. The first one is, well, really everyone's favourite. It's lavender. Just have a nice little rub of that foliage. Lovely sweet smell, and this plant's already showing signs of flower spikes, which in a few weeks' time will be coming out. The flowers, lovely, nice pale pastel colours, and in fact all of the flowers that are in this planter have got nice calming colours. So that's the first one. The second plant is called Facilia Folia, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it's a super easy plant to grow from seed. I was lucky and planted some of this in my garden last year, so I actually had some seedlings that I could pot up ready for putting in the container. But if you haven't, just get along to your local garden centre and see if you can get hold of a bag. And any spare seed, just scatter around your garden because the bees are going to absolutely love it. Alternatively, we have got another plant which is a really good substitute for Facilia, and that's quite simply Catmint, which I've got over here. So Nepeta Farsenii is the one that we've got growing here. It's a perennial as well, so that will just stay in your container from year to year. The third plant in the trio is Oregano, or Marjoram is the other name. And I've got this lovely golden leaf form of it here. Again, give the leaves a quick rub and a sniff because it's one of those edible plants that we can use in cooking, but really what we're using it for here is its flower power. Because later in the summer, these spikes will extend a little bit and they'll be absolutely dotted in tiny little flowers which are super loved by both bumblebees and lots of other pollinators too. So that's our trio: lavender, Facilia or Nepeta, and Oregano or Marjoram. So let's get planting. So you can really choose the planter that works well for your space. That might be a window box or even a hanging basket. But I've today chosen a rather classy terracotta number, which is just going to go in a really lovely sunny spot out on my patio. Pick a good brand of potting compost as well. Nice peat-free one like this. And if you've got a container which has quite a large hole in the bottom and the compost is in danger of just simply falling out at the bottom, you could, if you want, pop a little bit of crocks in there. But otherwise, you don't need to worry too much. So I need to build up the space in the bottom of the container a little bit higher. The idea is that I'm going to be sitting these plants just below the rim. If you sit them too high, then actually you've not got very much space to get the water in. And if you sit them too low, they really can sort of sulk a bit in the bottom. The light can't get in there and they don't look so nice. So I'm just going to pop a little bit more, perhaps another couple of scoops of this compost in. Get it spread around. I don't need to pack it down too much. And really, I think I'm probably at the level where I can now start to put the plants in. And you can have a little play around, even before you take them out of the pots. Why don't you just pop them in just to see what they look like in terms of arrangement. So they're going to fit nicely into there. And I think I'll probably have the lavender at the back, that's the tallest plant, and then pop the other two in front. So now it's time to actually get them planted. So if they've got a label in, just take that out. And then handle your plants so that you are holding them firmly across the top, and then we're going to tip them over. Little tap on the bottom, and that pulls out really nice and easy. Now with this one, the roots are just a tiny bit congested, so I'm just going to tease a couple out at the bottom there, or you can snip a little bit off with some secateurs if you've got those. If they're not congested, just leave them alone. They'll be fine and they'll make their own way into the compost. But we want these roots to get down into the depth of compost there. So I'm going to sit that towards the back of my pot. And then next one is going to be the Oregano or Marjoram. Again, starting to get some nice young roots on that plant. Sit that in next to it. And the last one, so the stems are a little bit delicate on this Facilia. Let me pop it over and see what roots we've got. Oh wow, look at those. Okay, so that's going to grow away really, really quickly. And in fact, the Facilia might even drape a little bit over the sides of the pot once it gets going. So, all that's really left here is for me to start to fill in around these plants. Fill in any of the gaps and just support them. You don't want to bury the stem base really. Okay, so just gently hold the foliage of the plants out of the way as you fill in around it. Push a little bit down with your fingers to make sure that the compost is sitting in any of the gaps, you're not leaving any air holes. Okay, so we're nearly there actually. This is nice and quick. A really easy project just to do at a weekend. And then final thing is just to press my fingertips in around the rim, making sure all of that's firmed in. Have a little look, make sure you're happy with your container. Give it a tap on the sides. And yeah, so we've got that space for the water to sit in. We want it to drain through, but if it's too high, like I say, the water will just spill off and it's going to make it harder to keep it watered in the summer. So, as well as having a little think about where you're going to put this, the last thing is to get this watered. So let's just move that compost to one side. And the first watering is, to be honest, one of the most important watering because it will help settle the compost around. So I'm going to do this on this table, trying not to get too wet in the process. If you've got rainwater, perhaps if you've got a water butt at home and that you capture that, that's great. It doesn't need to be tap water. I'm just going to let that soak in a little bit. Okay, one more tiny little bit. So there we have it, my Be Calm Bumblebee planter. So why not get along to your local garden centre and get some lovely bee-friendly plants and make up your own. And if you'd like to know more about Million Bumblebee Miles, check out the web link below.